Okay, this one's for you, Larry. I hope you'll pay me for this joke. Okay, so the setting: Larry, Jeff, and Susie. I think their name is Susie. I forgot. They go out. They're going out to lunch, right? Susie's got this amazing place to go to. It's this new hip joint. Health craze just opened up. Gen Z, whatever you want to call it. Just vegan, vegetarian, all that. And so they're on their way there, and Larry is boasting about how wonderful it is. He's like, greatest invention of all time. Pulls out his card, right? His credit card. He's like, I don't even have to hand this to anyone anymore. I can just hover it over it and it pays for me. No one's touched my card anymore. I don't gotta clean anymore. Oh God, greatest thing of all time. I love people, but I don't like people touching my stuff. Come on, And so they're on the way there, and then Larry's like, what is this joint anyway, right? And so he's like, it's delicious. You're gonna love it. It's good for you too, Larry. You need to start eating healthy. And so, they get there, and it's called Healthy Harvest, and it's a super flamboyant type vegetarian type place where the colors are very graphic, where like pictures of like wounded cows, right? Up for slaughter, right? Don't eat me. And Larry's looking at it, like freaking him out. And then of course everything, they have all the vegetables, all that. And so they get up, and Larry's looking around, and he's like, what's the
I want to know where to go.
Wait, hold on a second. Let me finish the story, and then we'll go, okay? So they get to Larry's looking up, and he's like, oh, he's a BB burger, and he's like, he's already disgusted by this whole vegetarian, this whole idea in a sense, and he's like, how am I supposed to know what VBB stands for, burger? Come on, with a burger, you can't call it a burger. It's not a true burger. With a burger, at least you know what you're getting. You're hoping to get a healthy, happy cow, right? Come on. And she's like, oh, Larry, it's vegetarian black bean burger, Larry. Come on, you're supposed to know that. Everyone knows this. Don't embarrass me. And so he's like, whatever, okay. So Larry orders the vegetarian black bean burger, and he has kind of an altercation with he tries to say like a joke to the cashier, and she's not having it. So there's already an immediate slight awkwardness, and so he goes to pay, right? He puts up, he's got his card. He's got a smile on his face with his card. He's looking for the tap, and then she goes to reach in to grab his card, and he pulls away. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, she's like, you need to pay, sir. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. Well, how do I do the hover? Just do the magic wand, right? However joke he talked about with the card in general. And so she says, well, we don't have that, right? We only do the swipe. Oh, you only do the swipe? He's like, I thought you were the new age place. Like, what are you talking about? And so she's like, sir, we don't have it. Let me see your credit card. It's like, it gets all awkward. He puts his card back in his pocket, and he pulls out cash instead and tries to pay with cash. And it's like, sir, we don't accept cash. He's like, oh, you don't accept cash, right? Really? You don't accept cash? You don't accept this clean money. This is clean money. And so he finally ends up, she takes the card, he finally gives it to her, and he takes it back. He's all like kind of disgusted by it. He's holding the card again. He's got to put it back in his pocket, and then he's like, okay, well, and he's like, we'll call your name. He's like, what do you mean we'll call our name? And then he's like, Susie, what kind of joint is this? Like, well, there's no waiters, there's no service, right? You just order and you pick it up, and then all of a sudden the tip screen pops up. She's like, could you fill out, sir? And then she looks up and she's looking at him, right? Like to give him a tip, and he's like, wait, but so you're gonna call me, and I'm gonna come get my own food, and that's how it's gonna work, right? And she's like, yeah, I'll call your name, and you just press the buttons to order my food, right? Yeah, it's got to go through the system, sir. It's got to go through the system. They're going to make your food, and we'll bring it out we'll bring it here when it's ready, and you'll come pick it up. He's like, and he's looking at the tip, he's looking back at her, and this whole awkward exchange about the whole tip thing, and he goes, declines the tip, right? And she kind of basically sees it, right, and rolls her eyes at him, and he's just like, what? It's like you're not doing anything for me. So they go back and they sit down, and the food comes out, and he calls his name. You got to go pick it up, and Larry's complaining too, by the way, in the interim, and then he finally goes picks his food up, and it's the best burger he's ever had. Oh my goodness, it's glorious, right? It's phenomenal, and so but he's thirsty. Oh man, he can get a drink. Where's the service at? The waiter. They usually bring you the drink. They come and offer you the drink. Oh, you got to remember to get the drink. So he goes back up, and they gotta get water. Goes back up to go get a water, and he's looking at he's looking for the refrigerator, and there's no water. All these kombucha and all these drinks out there, and then he goes up. He's like, hey, I'm looking for some water, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I can process that for you. He's like, you can process it? Like, yeah, you gotta pay for the water, and I'll process through the system. And he's like, oh, okay, so you gotta do the card thing again. So pays for the water. It's like a $4 water, right? And then he's like, he's sitting there waiting for the water, right? And she's like, I'll call. Your name will be called when it's ready, sir. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, it's water. You just turn around and grab the water and just hand me the water. I'm very thirsty right now. He's like, sir, your name will be called. Please, there's other people behind you. He's like, hold on a second. What do you mean? It's water. You should be able to just turn around and just grab me a water bottle. I'll pay for the water. Come on, just give me my water. She's like, sir, please. She gets finally annoyed with him, and he goes back and to sit down to wait to get called for his name for the water. And they're like, hey, where's the water at? Jeff asked him. He's like, it's going through the system. He's like, what do you mean it's going through the system? He's like, it's going through the system. They don't got any water. Someone's got to get the water for you, and then I got to go up and get it, right? And then, I forgot to say that the tip thing came up again too. The tip for the water. This time you press no tip for sure. And so, they're sitting here. They're sitting there waiting. And then as they're waiting, the side joke is that, they're the local artists, right? He kind of makes fun of people always putting their local art right up. And he's looking up at the local art, right? It's like $5,000, right? For these small little paintings. And the paintings are mushroom spore prints. Wait, is it mushroom spore prints? Yeah, it's like mushroom spore prints. Like, just the most ridiculous thing ever, $5,000. He's looking at this how ridiculous is this? Right, and so as he's looking at it, he also looks over, and he's looking for his water, right? And so he sees the ticket, the ticket's out there. It's like, oh, there's my water, right? And then he sees the open kitchen where the guy looks at the ticket, and the guy looks at the ticket, and he looks at it, and then he just turns away and starts doing something else, right? And we're just like, oh my god, he's dying of thirst, right? He's like, but he's sitting at the counter, he's going up the counter, he's kind of like banging on the banging on the table. Right, he's got these black beans, like, oh god, and so finally, the guy, he sees the guy finally get the water for him. It's like just a small, tiny little water bottle, right, $4, and they give it to him, and then he's bringing back his water, and they laugh at how small his water is, $4. He complains about it, and he's like, you guys, you see that? And they're like, what? Like, he didn't get my water. He deliberately didn't get my water. He saw the water. He saw someone was thirsty. He saw just one single water and didn't decide to get. I'm going to confront him. Oh God, Larry, don't do this. Don't please don't do this to me. And so Larry goes to the countertop, right, and then the guy from the back, he's coming around because he also is like bringing food and stuff, and he's like, hey, how you doing? He's like, I couldn't help but notice that you saw my water and you decided not to get it, right? Don't you think it's a little inconsiderate, right? Just water, right? After all, you can imagine someone, you guys don't have any water on hand for anyone to have, right? You have to wait and going through the whole system, and God forbid, someone's just to get water, right? And the guy's like looking at him, just like, who's this guy? And Larry, he says something else too, right? That puts it over the edge. And then the guy just like he just can't take it anymore, right? And he freaks out at Larry. He's like, sir, he's like, I work 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week, for $8.50 an hour. You piece of shit. Like, God forbid, serve 400 different customers. God forbid I don't get your water at that exact second, okay? Please. And so And so, like, this whole awkward thing ends, and Larry goes and sits back down, like, I'm all ashamed. Sue's got her hand in her face, and is like, everyone just like, Larry's like, oh, this is ridiculous, what just happened. And then some lady stands up, right, and she walks over to the counter. She's a pregnant lady, right, and she like, hey, could I have some water, please? And then they quick little turn around, they grab her some water, and they hand her, it's even a bigger piece of water in her, and then she, oh, thank you so much, I was so thirsty after that black bean burger. It's delicious, by the way, right? And she drinks it, walks away, and Larry's just like floored, like, oh, what the, and then, he's freaking out even more. And then you can take that a couple different places, and there's tons of little side things you can do, the whole in the restaurant, but that whole general theme of like going through the system, the altercation, the cat, paying with the credit card, not having the wireless, the flamboyantness of the place, right? The prince, right? There's a lot of different ways you can take that, but that's a general theme. Did I miss anything? I think that was everything. Okay, so that's restaurant part 1, right? So there's a whole episode, and so that's the first part of the episode where they go to this restaurant, and then the second part is restaurant part 2. But I'm gonna should I go straight to restaurant part 2? I might as well, right? Okay, let me just finish off restaurant part 2. So okay, restaurant part 2, and then I can cut these and break it up into two videos. Okay, so restaurant part 2. It's called Peaches. So Larry, Jeff, and Susie, and I got a rating wrong, and I'm sorry about that. I haven't seen the show. I love the show, but I haven't seen it in a long time, so I forgot her name. Hopefully she doesn't hate me for that. So restaurant part 2 is Peaches, where Larry's now, they're going out to lunch again, and Larry's like, he's like, come on, this time we're going to an establishment that's got, we gotta go. Okay, well, do I have 10 more minutes? Okay, so restaurant part 2 is, he's like, I got to go to an establishment that's, I want service this time, right? I want traditional, old-fashioned, I sit down, someone's going to bring me my water, right? I'll be able to even order another drink if I want. They'll bring me my food, right? Good old-fashioned service, right? How it's supposed to be. Not this new age, nonsense. So they're looking around, they're looking on Yelp, and they're seeing this one place that's got these amazing reviews called this restaurant Peaches. And the setting here really is it's in the mountains, in a town, but whatever, you can do whatever you want with it. And so there's reading the reviews, right? Oh, wonderful food, amazing food. It's a family restaurant, right? Family-oriented restaurant. It's delicious, breakfast, lunch place. And then there's this one review. It's like, amazing food, but not the friendliest to the Jews. And Larry is very reserved about reading this, and they're just like, oh, come on, it's just, people are ridiculous, and they're arguing with him. Let's just go, it's gonna be amazing, right? And they see it's a beautiful outside, with the tables outside, flowers everywhere, and so they sit down and as they sit down, they see one of the waiters and a dog running around, right? And there's a dog, just running around. Everyone's loving the dog, petting the dog, and everyone's loving the dog. And Larry's just, he's it's fun to pet the dog. What is it? The dog is the dog working here or something? And then the dog's running around, and then also he sees the waiter, right? He's a tall waiter, and he's looking at the waiter. He's very suspicious looking at the waiter, and all of a sudden he thinks he hears someone say to the waiter, "Hey, Heine," right? Heine, hi, Heine. Oh, isn't that German? Isn't that German? Larry's like, isn't that German? And it dawns him, right? You do the flashback of him like realizing that that's the guy, that's the waiter. That's the guy who's not nice to the Jews, right? And so it's Heine, and Larry's trying to he's like, I think that's the guy. And so Larry, come on, just shut up already. Don't embarrass me again. I can't take another one. And so they sit down. The dog's walking around. Everyone's petting the dog again. And dog comes up to Larry, and Larry's like, no thanks. No thanks. I'm good, right? And the dog just looks at him, kind of like looking for a pet, like when a pet. It's like. And just pet the dog, Larry. What's going on? It's like, just pet the dog, right? And people start looking at him like, I don't want to pet the dog, right? And he's like, we don't want to pet the dog. I don't want to pet the communal dog. Everyone's petting the dog. Everyone's eating the food and touching and petting the dog. And then I pet the dog. Then I got to go inside. I got to wash my hands. I prefer not to pet the dog. Larry, just pet the dog. Look at the dog. And the dog's like, whimpering. And he's like, fine, I'll pet the. He finally pets the dog, and he's like, oh, it's all. The dog's wet too. Oh, so he's going. And he goes back in the restaurant. He sees the owner, and she's lovely, right? It's wonderful. Oh, the bathroom's right there, right? He goes in the bathroom, and it's one of those automatic, right? It's the automatic sinks. There's 2 sinks, right? So they have 2 sinks, and they're automatic. So he goes. Some guy's already using one of them, washing his hands. So then Larry goes in. He tries to wash hands in one of them, and it doesn't come out. He's like, nothing's there. And the guy leaves. He goes in for the other one. He's putting his hands. He's got all this soap all over his hands, and it's not coming out. And he can't get them to work. They're just not working. So he's got to just take cloth and just like kind of wipe his hands, and he's out. He walks back out. He's like, your bathroom's not working, right? And whatever, small thing. So he goes back, right? And so this is a good part. So this is where they sit down, right? They sit down to order their food. And right, so the waiter comes over, Heine, and there's already some awkwardness in some way. You got to create a little more awkwardness there. So they sit down, order their food, and then they order the food. And Larry he's struck between like these 2 things, right? And he's trying to ask questions like to the waiter, like, hey, so is this what what is this like that? What kind of ingredients in this? What kind of, are these fresh? And then right as he's doing this, right, the dog. Oh, sorry, I missed it too. The dog's name is Token, right? He's a black lab. You gotta fit that in there somehow. And so the dog comes, right up by the grass area on the left-hand side, because the grass on the left-hand side. Larry's ordering, and the waiter's right there. He's looking at him, and all of a sudden the dog comes around the left-hand side and just squats down, right, and just takes a beautiful. He does his business right in front of Larry, and Larry's just like staring at it as it's coming down, and he's just, and the waiter's like waiting for Larry to give him his order. It's just like going back and forth. It's like, what's happening right now? And then Larry's like, sir, come on, we're very busy. Could you leave? What would you like? And Larry just then says a random thing from the menu or something like that. And then the waiter leaves, and Larry's just like, freaking out. Just like, oh my god! Like, the dog just made a giant turd right in front of me as I made my order. Like whatever, Larry. This is what dogs do. They go to the bathroom. They can do this, and like, no, they can't. Like, and then Larry gets all upset about the fact that animals get to, dogs get to just poop everywhere they want, right? He's like, if I just decided to, pull down my trousers and took a deuce, right in front of everyone, I'd be doing 30, right? So he's all upset about this whole, like, why do dogs get this, privilege, and so. The next part is where then Heine, the waiter, he comes and he scoops it up, right? He puts it he cleans up the poop, right? And then the next thing he's coming out with the food, right? And so Heine comes out with the food, right? And he's handing the food, and then right as he handing Larry's plate, Larry sees right on his thumb, right? Like a immediate close up, a little brown substance that's right there, and Larry's like, oh, it's like, it's the poop. It's the dog poop. And he hands him his plate, right? And Larry's just like kind of freaking out. And then the guy that waiter walks away, and he's like, and Larry's just thinking all this time, like, oh my god, this is the guy who doesn't like the juice. He just served me with poop on his hands, right? And so he's just like freaking out, and he's like yelling, like, did you see it? Did you see the poop? Did you see the poop? And they're like, no, we didn't see anything, Larry. He's like, it was right there, I swear. He's like, I can't eat this. I can't eat this. And you wait for the waiter to come back, and he has to confront the waiter. He has to confront the waiter about this. He's like, sir, he's like, yeah, on your hand right now, he starts complaining about everything, right? And Larry's just being Larry. He's complaining about everything, and the food. He like the food that he didn't want. He can't eat the food, the poop. Well, hold on, one second, baby girl.
No, it's time to go.
Okay, it's time to go. But it's the last part of the story, okay? So, and then, he confronts the waiter. He confronts the waiter about it, and he can't. The waiter is just like not. Looking at him like crazy, and then even like Larry flat out's accusing him. You're the guy that doesn't like the Jews, right? Okay, go ahead, you look. And so in the last part, hang on. Anyways, okay, I'll skip the rest. So the last part is basically, they have the confrontation, and the waiter goes down and he sees it, right? And he, as if it looks like to eat the poop to show Larry it's not poop, right? And it, it's chocolate, right? It's like he's dealing with like some chocolate dessert or something. And, you know, kind of like the trombones end up playing, and Larry seems all like guilty and feels, you know, like, oh, what'd I just do? And you know, Larry again doing his Larry thing, you know. And so, you know, they eat their food, and and the waiter goes back, and then at the end, and thanks Kirk Robert for this last part, and right at the end, you know, Heine, quote unquote Heine, goes back, and he says, the scene ends where he says a remark about Larry being like, you know, something about the Jews or something. He actually is like, he's actually prejudiced, right? He's actually the prejudiced waiter, and then you can decide to make the poop whether actually real poop or not, right? Because if someone said, oh my god, like you know, like whatever, how rude, and he gets to decide whether or not, right? Anyways, I gotta go. Hey, Chris, good luck with that. Send that to Larry if you can get it to him. All right, see you.